Montreal, the Expos have taken the field. Terry Francona's starting lineup this afternoon against the left-hander. Doug Glanville, center field, leads off. Greg Jeffries, left field, batting second. Scott Rowland, third base, hitting third. Kevin Jordan hitting fourth and playing first base. Mark Lewis at second base, bats fifth. Rex Hudler in the lineup in right field, batting sixth. Mark Perrin will catch today and hit seventh. Desi Relaford at shortstop, bats eighth. Tyler Green, the pitcher, hitting ninth. Defensively for Montreal, Shane Andrews at third, Mark Bresalanik at shortstop, Jose Vidro at second, Brad Fulmer at first, Chris Widger is the catcher. Duran Stovall in left field, Rondell White in center, and Vladimir Guerrero in right, and the pitcher is Carlos Perez.
And the flashy left-hander's 3-3 with a very respectable 3.34 ERA. Won his last 3 starts. He got into the 8th inning in each of those games. In 9 of his 10 starts, he's pitched into the 7th inning, and that's why he's 10th in the National League with 72 2/3 innings pitched.
See his last 3 starts, 3-0 with a 2.66 ERA. 27-year-old out of the Dominican Republic. Doug Glanville, the first one to face him, hitting at 305. Takes a fastball inside, 1 ball and no strikes.
Pitchers are definitely going to have an advantage here early in the game with those shadows right in between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
Hard to see the ball out of the pitcher's hand.
Yes, it is.
1 ball and 1 strike. Brian Gorman calling the balls and strikes today. Tom Hallion at first base. Crew chief Jerry Crawford at second, and Bob Davidson at third. Change up, hit in the air to center field, right at Rondell White. So Glanville is retired, 1 down. And it will bring up Greg Jeffries. Jeffries has been a hot hitter, 10-game hitting streak, overall hitting at 325 in the last 10, batting a lusty 429. Right-handed, though, he hadn't hit all that well. He's batting much better left-handed than right. 346 left-handed, 233 right-handed. 1 ball and no strikes. He has been hot, as you can see. The last 10 games. Little dribbler out toward the mound. Carlos Perez fields his position well, and he throws out Jeffries fairly easily. Carlos is a good athlete.
Well, that's what's tough to pick up here is the off-speed stuff and the breaking balls, and Jeffries gets way out in front of it, hits it off the end of the bat, and Perez comes in, makes a good play, plants and throws. Brings
up Scott Rowland. Scott hitting at 302. Birthday wishes today of the great Bill Lyons. My bodyguard watching back in the Philadelphia area from wife Rita of the First Aid Station at Veterans Stadium, and from us, many happy returns today to Bill. Now balls and 2 strikes to Scott Rowland. Bouncing it up there, 1 and 2.
You see that ball coming out of Perez's hand. You see it's light out there when he lets go of it, and then it's like the ball turns dark, and it's so tough for hitters. That's one thing hitters probably hate more than anything, is having a shadow in between the pitcher's mound and home plate. You just can't pick the ball up.
Remember those games at Wrigley Field when Lee Smith was there? Oh. Always, whenever Lee came in, he would be throwing in the sunlight into the shade all the time. It was like impossible in the late innings at Wrigley to try to hit Lee Arthur Smith. Popped him up, foul, and out of play.
Yeah, Lee Smith was a big guy. It looked like he was throwing the ball landing halfway to home plate when he let go of the ball on top of the shadows. You guys had no chance.
1 and 2 to Rowland with 2 outs and no base runners. Dribbles that one foul. In memory today to Violet Spalding, a great Phillies and Whitey Ashburn fan, loved forever from her husband Henry and family. Ball and 2 strikes to Scott Rowland. fastball on the inside corner got him looking. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. After one half, Phil's nothing, and Montreal coming to bat. Phil's failed in the top half. Montreal batting bottom of the first. Felipe Alou's starting lineup. Jose Vidro at second base leads off. Mark Gresselanic shortstop bats second. Vladimir Guerrero in right field hitting third. Brad Fulmer, first baseman, bats fourth. Rondell White in center field hitting fifth. Chris Widger will catch and bat sixth. Duran Stovall in left field hitting seventh. Shane Andrews, third baseman, bats eighth. And Carlos Perez, the pitcher, hitting ninth. That lineup is facing Tyler Green, who's won 3, lost 3 with a 5.19 ERA. Vidro leads it off. One strike to Vidro, who's hitting at 164.
So the numbers for Tyler, less hits than innings. The 30 walks is a little high for him. He's really, the last couple games, he's not thrown well at all. He's given up a lot of runs, a lot of hits.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Vidro. Vidro started the year with Montreal, then went down to Ottawa. Coming back up. Right back at Tyler Green, who caught it on the fly.
That's one of the toughest balls to catch, too. Not just from the sun and the shade there, but when a guy takes a full swing and he hits a changeup back at you, see his reaction. I mean, he's trying to get out of a way a ball that's not even there yet. And that's it's basically guys hitting you a changeup and you flinch and you bouncing around and still not there.
I'll bring up Mark Gresselanic batting at 249. Birthday wishes today to Cass Bogle, celebrating back in Philadelphia. From Paul and all of her family. Paul the Fudge Man. A balls and 2 strikes to Gresselanic. Bouncing ball chopped to second base. Lewis throws out Gresselanic, 2 down. Montreal hitting just .239 as a team, ranking low in the league, 3.2 runs per game. They have hit 39 home runs. ERA is a fairly high 4.55, but Felipe's had to deal with a starting rotation that includes 3 rookie pitchers.
That's not easy to do.
1 strike to Vladimir Guerrero, hitting at .295.
And they also haven't helped themselves. They're second from last in the league in fielding.
Beats a foul. 0-2. Pops a foul, back out of play. Still no balls and 2 strikes. Carl Pavano did a great job in his major league debut last night. Connecticut pitcher, went to a, I think it was about 12-year-old. He went to, well, I'll get back to that story later as Guerrero goes down swinging. No runs, hits, errors, and none left. And at the end of 1, it's a 0-0 game. Mark Parent will lead it off for the Phillies here in the 3rd. Parent hitting at 276, 0-0 ball game. Alice Matson of New Holland, Pennsylvania. 80th birthday wishes today. Alice has been a Phillies fan since the 1920s. Mrs. Lee Levitto of Roxborough, 84 years young today. Pause for station identification on the Phil's television network.
You're watching Phillies baseball on WPHL TV Philadelphia.
1-1 to Mark Parent. Slice of foul, right field side, out of play.
The shadow's starting to creep up on the mound now. Once it gets behind the pitcher, it'll be a lot better for him.
Right field will be his Sun field all day. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bouncing ball, chopped softly. Pedro throws out Perez. LA, any shallow thought for the day?
Yeah. If a turtle has no shell, is he homeless or naked?
Yeah, baby. That'll bring up Desi Relaford. Desi hitting at .295. Desi right-handed, batting at .324.
He's been swinging the bat the last 10 days. .423.
Carlos Perez has fallen behind him 2-0. Chase the high fastball. 2 balls and a strike. Relaford works the walk. First given up by Carlos Perez, and Tyler Green will bat. Tyler Green probably will be bunting, although he can swing the bat. He's hitting at .313, lifetime at .239 hitter. Gets the bunt down. Carlos Perez goes to first base. Sacrifice good by Tyler Green. It goes Perez to Vidro for out number 2, moving Relaford to second base. And bringing up the top of the order, Doug Glanville, who lined out to center field his first time up. Carlos Perez lifetime against the Phillies is 1-3, lost 2, 3.69 ERA. And his first major league start against the Phils. At Veterans Stadium, he won that game and hit a home run off Mike Williams. Backing out of play. Following a strike to Doug Glanville. Glanville with an 18-game hit streak, the longest in the major leagues, not current. Larry Walker currently has an 18-gamer going into their game at Cincinnati. Huge foul, first base side, 1-2.
Carlos Perez hasn't paid much attention to Desi at second base. Desi, good lead off the bag. Nobody really holding him close.
base hit left field. Desi Relaford being waved around. It's juggled out there by Duran Stovall, but safe at second base is Glanville. That'll be a hit in an error, and the Phillies take a 1-0 lead here in the third inning. Give Glanville a run batted in.
Stovall wanted to come in and like make a throw and just kind of got undecided. Glanville goes down and gets a good breaking ball.
Well, as you mentioned, since Desi had that big lead, Stovall didn't get a grip on the ball, so he'll get an error on it. Close play at second after he recovered.
Ball might have beat him. He just wasn't able to get the tag on him. Kind of swiped, and Glanville swiped before actually Glanville got to the bag.
So the Phillies have taken a 1-0 lead here in the third. Greg Jeffries grounded back to Carlos Perez, his first time up. Popped him up. Foul, might be playable. Widger over near the stands, has room, makes the play, and that will retire the side. Phil score run in the inning. 1 hit, 1 error, 1 left. We go to the bottom of the third. 1-0 Phillies. Best business person specials coming up Wednesday, June 17th at 1:05 against those Buccos from Pittsburgh. Fun in the sun afternoon baseball. LMPSFS BP special on June 17th. Order your tickets now by calling 215-463-1000. Jose Vidro leads it off. It's in a humpback line drive back to Tyler Green, is lined out to left.
Hit it.
Oh. What a way to lose a perfect game. What a way to lose a perfect game. Had a no ball, 1 strike count on Jose Vidro, and gets hit by a pitch.
Could use Bob Davidson in here right now to say that he didn't try to get out of the way. Where's Bob when you need him? That's what he said last night, which had us very confused. There's Tyler Green's 0-1 and his reaction of, oh man, how did I do that?
Now he's got to concentrate with a runner at first base on holding him down. He has a 1-0 lead. Vidro becomes the first base runner. Bob Davidson now.
So that's just what's going on out there right now. After he made that ridiculous call last night.
Tyler Green had retired the first 18 in a row until that hit Bassman. But Green gets out in a hurry and makes a wide throw. Green trying to cut down the lead runner, made a wide throw. It'll be a sacrifice and an error on Tyler Green, and the first 2 expos are on here in the 7th.
He had him too. I mean, he really didn't even have to hurry this. Vidro did not get a good jump. Tyler Green, who's a good fielder, throws across his body, and Desi Relaford makes a tremendous play to even stop this. Look how much he has him by. He's out by a lot with any kind of an accurate throw.
So now all of a sudden Tyler Green in trouble. You look for, I don't think, a bunt from Vladimir, do you?
Bet he's never bunted in his life.
It's a 1-0 ball game. Vladimir Guerrero is struck out and grounded out. That's no bunt. That's no bunt. That's out of here. No, off the top of the fence. And holding at second base is Grasselanic. The runners had to hold up. That is going to be the longest single you'll ever see in your life.
And it'll tie the game because Vidro got a better jump, but they didn't know what was going to happen there. Glanville did a pretty good job before he turned his back to make them think that he had a chance to catch it, and hit the top of the wall. Almost was a 3-run homer.
Can't hit it any further in this ballpark without it going out. Look at this. Right at the top of the fence, missed by about a foot of being out of here, and that's a 400-foot single and an RBI, and the first hit given up by Tyler Green, and it's a 1-1 game. Brings up Brad Fulmer, who has grounded out and fouled out.
You could see on that replay what I was talking about, how Glanville drifted back, and the base runners got a little confused by the way, and then he turned his back real fast and played it off the wall. He did a really good job on that.
1 ball and no strikes to Brad Fulmer. Base hit left field. Veselanic will score. Guerrero will hold at second, and the Expos take a 2-1 lead. Well, you can almost see it. After he hit the leadoff man, Pedro, it's almost like Tyler Green lost some concentration. He was disgusted at hitting the leadoff man, and you can almost see it coming.
Now, I think he lost his concentration after that, and then he made the throwing error. There's a fastball for a base hit to left field. I mean, he compounded the mistake by making the throwing error to second base, and that sets up a big inning.
Still nobody out. Galen Cisco is going to talk to Tyler Green. He's also going to buy some time as the Phillies bullpen gets up. Yorkie's Perez is the left-hander, and Jerry Spradlin is the right-hander. So after pitching 6 perfect innings here in the 7th, a hit batsman, a bunt, and an error on Tyler Green. And yet the board is, oh, they just did now put an error up. Then 2 hits, one of them off the top of the center field fence by Guerrero. Real long single.
Very long single. Looked like a 3-run homer at one point.
It sure did. I thought it was going out. But the Expos have 2 across. They lead it 2-1, and the batter will be Rondell White. Still nobody out in the 7th. No strikes to Rondell White. One. Tyler Green is scheduled to bat second in the 8th inning. They would like to get him through this inning if possible. 2 balls and a strike. But if he doesn't get him out here pretty quickly, he won't get through the inning. Like right now. 2-2.
Yeah, because the bullpen's ready now. Here's Tyler Green behind in the count and throws a really good changeup to Rondell White and gets him out front. And the ball is loose in the bullpen.
Ball is loose.
That happens a lot here because the mounds here and in Cincinnati are out in the open.
Ball gets through. Mark runners move up to second and third.
That looked like a pass ball. See how they scored. Here's Tyler Green's pitch. Wow, that was tough to handle. He was set up inside and he threw it across his body and he didn't catch it. Still think it's a pass ball.
They have scored at a pass ball. Runners are at second and third. The Phillies have to bring the infield in with nobody out. Walking. So it's just all come apart for Tyler Green. Tyler Green, who was perfect through 6 innings, hit batsman, throwing error out by himself, 2 hits, a walk. The batter will be Chris Widger, who was struck out and grounded out. Phillies will back off to double play depth. Desperately need an out here. Change up, had him fooled. 1 strike to Widger. Good fastball, nothing in 2.
Guy's done a heck of a job, has Widger. Batting safely in 17 out of 21 coming into this game and taking over as the #1 catcher here.
Hitting .342 in the last 21 ball games, so he's been a hot hitter.
Yeah. Won the ball game for them last night on that base hit in the 9th inning. Talking to himself, he chased a few bad balls in this at bat and he's trying to stay back.
Two runs across, bases loaded, no outs. Loops a foul, right field side. Just barely foul. Oof. Ball was smoked. Almost got Jerry Spradlin in the Phillies bullpen. Just barely foul.
People jumping all over the place when that ball was hit. And they didn't have much time to react. Bob Davidson ruling that that ball never got a piece of the bag.
To the count to Chris Widger. Beats it foul. Still 1-2. Two runs in, bases loaded, nobody out. Struck him out with a knuckle curveball. Big strikeout for Tyler Green. That is his 6th and his first since the 3rd inning.
Tyler Green staying with breaking stuff here to Widger, and hard to see for these hitters, especially that kind of pitch, and he got him to chase one.
Brings on Duran Stovall. He has struck out and flied to center.
What Terry Francona is talking about there is how they want to play the infield, and they decided to play to double play depth.
Has good speed. He's a tough man to double. 1 strike to Stovall.
They just don't want to take a chance on bringing the infield in and giving up 2 cheap runs here late in the ball game.
This with a changeup, 1-1. Line drive to center field. Glanville gloves and the throw to the plate. They will hold. Surprisingly, Guerrero holds at third base. I don't know if he was not tagged. He was not tagged.
He broke on that ball, thought it was a base hit, and it went out there so fast, and he had such good throwing position to Glanville, they couldn't score him. Now watch what happens here. Look, see how he had broken, and now he's on his way back, and he barely gets to the bag as Glanville catches the ball. He did not go back immediately. He broke for the plate. The Phillies may have caught a break there if they get out of this inning.
And the man standing between Tyler Green and getting out of this inning is Shane Andrews, who has struck out and grounded out. They're loaded with 2 outs.
Play can be one of the toughest plays for a base runner because your instincts are to move forward when the ball's hit like that, even though you know you can walk in if it's a base hit, instead of breaking back for the bag right away.
1 strike to Shane Andrews. Tyler Green at 102 pitches. This will be his last inning. He is scheduled to hit second in the 8th. One ball and one strike to Andrews.
Started to throw across his body a little bit in this inning. Larry Anderson was talking about when he was here that when he was here in the middle innings that Tyler had been staying away from falling off towards first and throwing a fastball across his body. He's doing a little bit in this inning. And as a result, he misses away from the right-handed batters when he does that.
2 balls and a strike to Andrews. Fouls it right field side.
Did it again there.
Great
And
catch
Andrews,
by Kidd.
And Andrews helped him fouling that off. That was a good catch.
Kidd.
That count should be 3-1 right now, though. See where that ball is? He pulled it across his body again, way outside, and Andrews chased it.
Well, Andrews in the top 10 in homers per times at bat. He's also among the league leaders in strikeouts. Missed with it. Full count.
See where those pitches are all going? A lot of them are fastballs, and they're going outside because he's coming across his body all of a sudden.
No room on base for him. They're loaded with 2 outs. A big pitch here for Tyler Green and the Phillies. Walked it. First in a run. It's now a 3-1 ball game.
He stayed away from that the whole game until this inning, and he got out of whack mechanically. Watch how he comes across his body with a fastball, overthrows it, and the ball goes way outside, and he falls towards first base.
So the Expos have batted around here in the 7th inning, scoring 3. Bases are loaded for Carlos Perez, who has struck out and flied out to deep right. One strike to Carlos Perez.
He should have less of a tendency to do it now because it's a left-handed batter. 30 pitches so far this inning for him.
Backdoor breaking ball. 0-2 to Carlos Perez. So for Tyler Green, perfection through 6. Imperfect this inning. 2 walks and a hit batsman.
They batted around.
And an error.
That's about as imperfect as you can get a bat around.
Struck him out with a changeup that will retire the side, but Montreal bats around, scoring 3 runs in the inning. They do so on just 2 hits, no errors, 1 error rather, and 3 men left. We go to the 8th, 3-1 Montreal. Montreal has taken a 3-1 lead, batting around in the bottom of the 7th after Tyler Green was perfect through 6 innings. Just 1 of the runs given up was earned by Tyler Green as a result of his own error. Tyler Green dejected in the dugout. He is finished for the day. Ruben Amaro has moved into the on-deck circle to bat for Tyler. Desi Relaford will lead it off. Relaford has walked and scored the Phillies' only run, has flied out to center field. What were we saying about the run support for Tyler Green before the game? Not today.
Well, you got a good pitcher out there in Carlos Perez pitching in the shadows. So you had to figure this would be a low-scoring game, and it is thus far.
Carlos Perez has retired the last 9 in a row.
He can finish them, too. Carlos Perez can pitch some shutouts and complete games.
Yeah, last year he led the major leagues in shutouts.
5. He won't get a shutout today, but he can pitch.
Deep shortstop, Gresselanik, and Relaford did not get out of the box. Gresselanik makes the play easily, 1 down.
Yeah, Carlos Perez gets a fastball up, or a breaking ball up there, and Desi hit it hard. And you saw him stumble as he came out of the box. And Gressolani probably would have had him anyway, but not by that much except for the stumble.
Ruben Amaro batting for Tyler Green. Ruben hitting a 188. As a pinch hitter, Ruben is 5 for 18. Right-handed, 1 for 8 this year. 1 ball and no strikes to Amaro. Jerry Spradlin will be the Phillies' new pitcher in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Popped him up into shallow right center field. Jose Vidro takes care of that one. Tyler Green, 7 innings, 2 hits, 3 runs. It should be 1 earned run, I believe.
That's what they announced.
They announced
one, yeah.
7 strikeouts and 2 walks. But he was, that really doesn't tell the story. He was perfect through 6 innings, 18 up and 18 down. Then he opened the 7th by hitting the leadoff man with a pitch, Jose Vidro. And he seemed to just lose his concentration at that point. Then he committed a throwing error on a bunt.
That compounded the error.
Yeah. All went apart for him at that point.
I really think that he could have settled down and maybe gotten through that inning if he made that bunt play, because that would have gotten his confidence and his focus back.
He made the throw to second.
But once he threw that ball away, he was gonzo.
Chopped softly, third base. Andrews going to have to hurry. No chance. Infield single, Doug Glanville. So Glanville gets his 2nd hit. The Phillies 5th. And it will bring up Greg Jeffries.
Glanville gets a lot of infield hits because he hits so many funky balls in the infield. And then with that great speed of his, this guy gets out of the box so fast, especially for a right-handed hitter. It's amazing to watch how quick he gets down the line.
Greg Jeffries is grounded out, fouled out, and lined out. Mike Maddox gets up in the exposed bullpen.
Been in the first 2 games of this series.
Does Carlos have a pickoff move?
No. No, he just lobs it over there.
Seems like he always does.
Steps off.
Does he ever throw over there real hard? Slam deep but foul.
I think most guys that do what he does, they do it for a reason, meaning they don't have a move. Might be one of the few shortcomings in his game because he does everything pretty well. This guy may be a flake, but he is a good pitcher.
Yes, he is. Just soft tosses over there all the time.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to even be concerned about Glanville. I mean, he's got 2 outs in the 8th inning and a 2-run lead. You know that they want him to concentrate on Jeffries.
Ground ball in the hole. Nice grab by Andrews, but there'll be no play. It'll be an infield single for Greg Jeffries.
Guarding the line defense against the Phillies there, and Andrews was over near the bagger. He catches this easily. As it is, you see how far he has to come from it from guarding the line. Does make a nice play. And you see Perez thinking, man, that's a ground ball right at my third base. Oh no, he's guarding the line.
Now Scott Rowland, who has struck out, fly to deep right and fly to center.
See, Alou's going to leave the left-hander in there too. Nope, maybe he isn't. Here comes Felipe out now.
Here comes Felipe, and he evidently is going to make a change here. Carlos Perez doesn't like it. He wants to stay in. Let's see if he talks Felipe into leaving him in. Yep. Yes, he did. I think Felipe was going to go to Maddox, but I think Carlos's body language said, Felipe, okay, big boy, get him out.
Yeah. He sure gave him another chance.
Yep.
Well, he's earned it. Well, he's pitched some good games for Alou.
Long drive. Watch this, baby. Out of here. 3-run home run, Scott Rowland. And the Phillies have taken a 4-3 lead, and Felipe Alou cannot believe it.
Yeah, he took a chance, and you see Perez with the hat back. He threw him something off speed, too. It looked like it might have even been a changeup. You see, Alou said that ball's supposed to be away and down, and it wasn't. It was right in the middle of the plate, and Scott just killed it. You could hear it when he hit it. We couldn't see it right away with these shadows, but once we saw it, you could tell it was going to go.
What a big blow for Scott Rowland, and that'll bring on Kevin Jordan, who fouls it out of play.
Scotty's second 3-run home run in this series. Hit a 3-run home run here in game number 1 in the first inning.
Jordan is 2 for 3.
Tough for a manager. You know, you fly by the seat of your pants sometimes.
Yeah,
you have
amazing.
to deal with your personnel. Tyler Green has a chance to win it. Alou, as you said, might have been thinking about taking him out. I mean, that was a tough call for him.
Yeah.
Think of the 2 funky hits the Phillies have in this inning, too, to lead up to the homer.
Perez did not want to come out, so Felipe said, okay, go after him. First ball after the conversation. Go on. Bills lead 4-3. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Kevin Jordan. Fly ball, shallow center field. Rondell White coming hard. He makes the play, and that will retire the side. The Phils take the lead, though, thanks to Scott Rowland. A 3-run home run, 3 hits, no errors, and none left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, 4-3 Phillies.
He goes this way. Tyler Green, you see his final line. He was perfect through 6, and then it all blew up for him in the 7th. Carlos Perez was pitching great, and then 2 infield singles and a bomb by Scott Rowland to put the Phillies ahead in the 8th inning. This has been a really good ball game. This was a changeup from Perez. It was supposed to be down and away. You see Scott, the pitch was up, and what great extension he got on this, and smoked it deep into the seats in left field. They probably talked about it when they went out there to throw changeup or splitter down and away, and he just didn't get it down and away.
So Jerry Spradlin will come on for Tyler Green. Spradlin is appearing in his 23rd game. He's won 2, lost 1, 3.80 ERA, 23 2/3 innings, 17 hits, 10 earned runs, 15 strikeouts, 9 walks. Opponents hitting just .207 against him.
Gomes is up in the bullpen along with Perez. This is a spot that Gomes has been coming into, but that all happened so fast. Spradlin was ready to come into the game. Boom, boom, boom. And now all of a sudden the Phillies are ahead, and he was ready, so he's in the spot where he used to be.
More like burp, burp, boom.
Yeah, that's a good point.
2 infield singles.
Burp. Well, you know, the other thing was
big blow.
They get nailed, as you see Perez and Gomes, and it was a percentage play to guard the line. But if they're not guarding the line, Phillies get nothing.
Carlos Perez upset. Fouls this one out of play.
Well, yeah, of course he is, because they gave him, his manager gave him a vote of confidence, and then he barely got back to his seat. The ball is in the seats the other direction.
Rico Brogna now is at first base defensively for Terry Francona. Moving to Miles in left field.
Amazing. What's going on here?
That's the way the 7th inning started. Pedro getting hit by a pitch, a 164 hitter.
Throws him a breaking ball, and he just takes it for the club. you know what? I still think that's the best way to do that, as opposed to what happened here last night, where you decide he didn't try to get out of the way like that guy did.
So Gresalonic may be butting here. He has grounded out, flied out, and sacrificed. Safe on a fielder's choice on the bunt. No. Runner goes. Parent off. Balance throw. Goes into center field. Pedro heading for third. Glanville's throw is high. It'll be a stolen base and a throwing error on Mark Parent.
This could have been a hit and run, but it's so far outside. You see Gresalonic didn't even offer at it. Then the throw is low. Lewis is too close to Relaford. Look how close the infielders are. That serves no purpose when they're both standing there, because you have no backup man, and now a high throw to third. But you have to have one infielder get behind the other to back up.
Evidently the signals were crossed as to who was covering.
I guess.
1 ball and no strikes. Pedro ends up at third base. On the count to Gresalonic. Rays will keep the infield back. They will concede tying run here on a ground ball. One and two. Strikes. Four 3 Phillies lead. That lead in jeopardy here in the bottom of the 8th. Foul ball. Stays 2-2 to Mark Gresalonic. He fouls the other one off. Still 2-2. In right field. Pedro scores. This game is tied at 4-4. And it's going to bring up Vladimir Guerrero.
So Jose Vidro has been hit by a pitch his last 2 times up, scores both times as Spradlin throws a fastball away to Gresalonic, who had a really good at bat there. Give Gresalonic credit. He kept fouling off tough pitches, and then he got a high fastball to handle.
Here's Guerrero, who hit a 400-foot single his last time up. Off the top of the center field fence. Base runners in front weren't sure what to do, so he ended up with a single. 3 balls and no strikes. Perez and Wayne Gomes are kind of looking on.
Well, they're both ready. As we mentioned, Spradlin began this inning where Gomes normally does because of the way that all unfolded.
Spradlin was ready and Gomes had not been up.
Right, because the Phillies were behind, and that they have managers try to get into an area of a game where they use certain guys.
Runner goes. Perez throw bouncing up there. Stolen base. Mark Bressolani.
They are running on Spradlin right now and giving Parent no chance. I mean, Jerry Spradlin takes a long time to get the ball to the plate because he has a slow delivery, and the Expos, aware of that, are just running. See, it's a fastball. I mean, even if he makes a good throw, he's not going to get Bressolani with the jump that he had.
Bressolani is 5 for 5 in stolen bases. Reaches out and pops it up, and it's trouble. That's beyond Bronya. Bressolani will hold at third. A looping single to right field by Guerrero, and the Expos have runners at first and third.
The Phillies have made this great comeback in the top of this inning, are now letting you get away on another really funky inning. See Guerrero with his rear end flying out of there, hits it right off the end of the bat, and nobody can get there.
Harry Francona comes out. This is going to be it for Jerry Spradlin. Yorkies Perez will be summoned in from the bullpen. So we are tied at 4-4 with Montreal runners first and third. Pitching change back after these messages. Yorkies Perez, the left-hander, will be the new pitcher in a tie game, but Montreal has runners at first and third and nobody out. Perez is appearing in his 11th game. No wins, no losses, no saves. A 3.21 ERA, 14 innings, 10 hits, 5 earned runs. He struck out 14 in 14 innings, walked 5. Opponents are hitting just .204 against him. And Felipe Alou will counter with a right-hand pinch hitter. Robert Perez will come off the bench to bat for Brad Fulmer. Robert Perez had a big game against the Phillies on Friday night. He's 8 for 18 since joining Montreal, hitting at .444. Homered off Matt Beach on Friday night. Phillies bring the infield in. 1 strike to Robert Perez.
And the left-handed pitcher in the game, Yorkies Perez, facing Robert Perez. You see his pinch hitting numbers, and this helps you hold a runner a little closer too, but so that Guerrero just can't get a running start off first base the way the other base runners did.
4-4 ball game here in the 8th. Montreal runners first and third and nobody out. Fly ball right center. That's going to get the run home. Hudler makes the play. Scoring easily is Bressolani. And Montreal has taken a 5-4 lead on the sacrifice fly by Robert Perez.
Phillies would have rather seen Glanville make that catch, but he still would have been in throwing position that would not have been real conducive to a strong throw. Perez fights off a high fastball. You see Glanville's going to his left, and he's probably calling for this because he has the stronger arm, but Hudler cuts in front of him, and now the run's going to score. I don't know if Glanville could have thrown him out even if he caught it going to the side that way. He couldn't get underneath that ball.
So Perez will give way to Wayne Gomes here. Montreal has taken the lead here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. 5-4 Expos. Pitching change back after these messages. Wayne Gomes comes on for Yorkies Perez. Gomes appearing in his 22nd game. He's won 2, lost 1. 4.03 ERA, 29 innings, 26 hits, 13 earned runs. He has struck out 25 while walking just 4. And he'll face Rondell White here. Runner at first base. Guerrero with 1 out, 2 runs across. One ball and no strikes to Rondell White. field shallow. Ruben Amaro coming hard. Rolling goes all the way out to left to make the catch. Ball is loose in the infield, and now nobody covering second base. Tagging and moving to second is Vladimir Guerrero. Well, there were players, fielders all over the place, all over the field, except at second base. Guerrero saw that.
Yeah, and he also saw the throw that had come back drifting towards second with nobody there. It was real wide, and that Brogna was going to have to go get it. Roland makes a great play. Then he throws it back into the middle of the infield, which is what he's supposed to do, and nobody is there.
So Guerrero gets himself into scoring position, and the batter will be Chris Widger. I've never seen, even Schmitty, I've never seen a third baseman go out that deep into left field to catch a ball.
He's pretty special, as Michael Jack was.
Yeah. 1 ball and no strikes to Widger. They give an error on that?
I'm just going to say they added a third error. That's a tough error to give to Roland. I mean, he gets the error because he threw the ball where he was supposed to.
Where was everybody?
Well, I'm not sure where Lewis was. I mean, obviously Relaford was out there trying to get the ball. Grieco has to trail the play, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know where the second baseman was. But he's the one, I guess, who's supposed to be there. We'll have to ask.
2 balls and a strike to Widger. Just missed. 3-1. 2 runs across. Montreal leading 5-4 here in the bottom of the 8th.
And with Urbina throwing now, you don't want to let another run score here if at all possible. And there's a guy who blew the save the first game, blew the Phillies away last night, and he'll have a chance at another one today.
Struck out the side in 1 inning last night. Scheduled to hit for the Phils in the 9th inning. Mark Lewis, Rex Hudler, and Mark Parent. There goes Guerrero, and doesn't matter because Widger strikes out to retire the side. 2 runs score in the inning, 2 hits, 2 errors, and 1 man left. We go to the 9th, 5-4 Montreal. Scoreboard, Florida edge, Pittsburgh 4-3. Atlanta behind Tom Glavine over Chicago 2-1. Comes at a leadoff home run from Manny Alexander, and that's it. Larry Walker extended his hitting streak to 19 games in a 3-1 Colorado win over Cincinnati. Mets lead Milwaukee 6-3. San Francisco and St. Louis tied at 2 in the 5th. Dodgers, Arizona, San Diego, Houston night games. 5-0 Toronto over Cleveland behind Woody Williams. 13-2 the Yankees lead Boston in the 5th. 3-2 Detroit over Chicago. Kansas City and Texas 0-0 in the 2nd. The rest of the action will be under the lights. Ryan McGuire has come on to play first base for Felipe Alou, and the new pitcher is Uguet Urbina, trying to save this game. 3-1, 10 saves and 12 opportunities, a 1.11 ERA. Almost a strikeout pitcher. Urbina in 24 innings has 33 strikeouts. Mark Lewis is 0 for 3 today.
Bobby Abreu in the on-deck circle. He will pinch hit for Hudler. There he is.
Two balls and a strike to Lewis. Pops a foul out of play. 2-2. Shortstop Gresalonic waits. Perez retired, one down. That'll bring out Abreu batting for Rex Hudler. Abreu hitting at .315. He plays just about every game, so he's only pinch hit once. 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter.
Mike Lieberthal in the on-deck circle to bat for Parent. There he is.
Chase the low pitch. No balls and a strike to Abreu.
Bobby Abreu's career pinch hitting numbers, yet the homer as a pinch hitter.
One ball and one strike.
Expos are a team that guard the line with both infielders. A lot of teams just do it with one, depending on a guy's pull side or whether they think the pitcher's going to overpower him or go the other way. You see they have the third baseman and the first baseman on the line. They've gotten burned with that once in this game, even though it was the proper thing to do with Andrews early on. I think Abreu is more likely to hit a ball to the left side than he is to the right side off this guy. And
off Urbina, yeah.
And you're more, you know, it's not as good a play to guard the line with the first baseman as it is with the third.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Abreu. Full count.
Urbina keeps throwing balls back. He's a young pitcher with a really strong arm, but that can even test the guy as young and strong as he is when you go 3 days in a row, especially day game after a night game. But he can fire.
Foul back and out of play. Still 3-2 to Bobby Abreu.
Terry Francona has had a roller coaster afternoon here. Not much scoring early in this game and a lot late.
Abreu is aboard with a 1-out walk, and that'll bring up Mike Lieberthal batting for Mark Parent.
This is close, and Bobby Abreu does a heck of a job to stay off this pitch. It's a fastball, and it's a little low.
Lieberthal hitting at .227, 5 homers, 22 RBIs, a pinch hitter, 1 for 2 with a run batted in. So the Phils try to come back here in the ninth, trailing by a run. One ball and no strikes to Lieberthal. Phils have played a lot of one-run games. 18 of them coming into this one. Phils are 8-10 in one-run games. One ball and one strike. Bouncing it up there, 2-1. Runner at first, Abreu with 1 down.
Urbina and Abreu know each other very well. They spent some time talking before the games, both from Venezuela. So Urbina aware of the fact that Bobby can run and might try to steal a base.
3 balls and a strike. As Relaford waits on deck. Those trying to come back here in the 9th inning. Fouls it back up and just below us. This might have been ball 4. It's high. On a full count now to Mike Lieberthal.
Trying to make a decision on whether you run or not.
You think he's more prone to hit a ground ball or a strikeout? This is a strikeout pitcher.
Strikeout pitcher. He throws a lot of stuff that's hard to handle because it's down. Sometimes I'd run him. Take a chance.
Abreu does go, and it's fouled out of play. Still 3-2 to Lieberthal.
Might not run him if you were home, but on the road you have to do things a little bit differently. As John Vukovich goes through the signs. A lot of good things can happen too when you run here. I mean, obviously bad thing can happen too. You get a strikeout double play and you go home. But you might get a 1st and 3rd by running him.
He goes again. Strikeout. But he's safe at second base. Abreu steals second, his 4th stolen base of the year.
That's what I meant about how hard this guy throws, and his stuff is tough to handle for Widger. I mean, Widger wants to stay framed and make sure he gets a strike, but see that ball sunk, and a real tough pitch for him to throw on. So that's why you're running it. Run when you have a good runner.
And it'll bring up Desi Relaford. Relaford has walked, flied out, and grounded out. One strike to Relaford.
They have 2 real good throwers in Rondell White and Guerrero, but Guerrero is way too deep in right field. So, I mean, they can score a run easily with 2 outs here if he can get the ball to right field.
Does he got a hit off Urbina on Friday night?
I mean, they're figuring he's not going to pull. And you would think that Guerrero would think that way too, or that they would move him in, that he's unlikely to pull a ball hard enough to hit it over his head as hard as Urbina throws. Now he just
must have heard you.
He just moved in a couple steps.
Beats a foul off his foot at the plate, and that one hurts. Relaford. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Could hear Desi yell when this ball goes off his knee. His knee.
He's in the hole. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Abreu at second base. 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
That's where the Phillies tied the game in the first game of the series with 2 outs in the 9th inning off Urbina.
Off Urbina, base hit by Scott Rowland.
I'd like Desi to do it here for them.
Takes it low. It's 2-2. Of 1 left. In a wacky game here at Olympic Stadium, Montreal, the Expos have won their 2nd in a row over the Phils, beating the Phils by a score of 5-4. Albert Perez knocking in the game-winning run with a sacrifice fly. And Carlos Perez, who gave up a 3-run home run to Scott Rowland, will end up getting the win in this ball game with the 11th save of the year for Uget Urbina. Montreal winning it by a score of 5-4. And we'll be back with more from Olympic Stadium in Montreal right after these messages.